What happens when the brightest stars are taken too soon by a disease that carries both tragedy and stigma?
Rap singer Eazy-E has lost his battle with AIDS just 10 days after revealing that he had the disease.
In the 1980s and 90s, the HIV/AIDS epidemic swept through the world, claiming countless lives and leaving an indelible mark on history. Among the millions lost were famous black icons, trailblazers in music, acting, and activism. Today we honor their lives, their impact, and the truth of their untimely deaths. This is the story of famous black people who died from HIV/AIDS. Did you know one of hip-hop's legends left us far too soon? His legacy tied to a harsh truth? Eazy-E, born Eric Wright, wasn't just a rapper. He was the godfather of gangsta rap. His biggest hit, Boys in the Hood, captured the gritty reality of urban life, becoming a cultural phenomenon. Eazy rose to fame by founding Ruthless Records and forming NWA, whose album Straight Outta Compton revolutionized rap. His raw lyrics and fearless delivery gave a voice to the streets, forever changing music history. But in 1995, Eazy's life took a tragic turn. Diagnosed with AIDS, he passed away just 1 month later, at the age of 30. His death shocked the world and reminded us how silent and devastating the disease could be. As we honor Eazy's groundbreaking legacy, let's look at another icon who made history in a different arena. Up next is the compelling story of Max Robinson.
A black anchorman will relate in the wheat fields of Kansas. It was one of the most absurd statements I've ever heard in my life.
Did you know the first black anchor on a major U.S. news network broke barriers while hiding a deeply personal battle? Max Robinson became a trailblazer in 1978 when he co-anchored ABC's World News Tonight, delivering nightly news to millions of Americans. His powerful voice and commanding presence shattered racial barriers. Robinson's rise to fame wasn't easy. He began his career in Virginia, where he made headlines by removing a graphic "News for Colored People" sign on air. This fearless determination propelled him to national prominence, making him a symbol of progress in journalism. Tragically, Robinson's life was cut short by AIDS-related complications. Diagnosed in the late 1980s, he kept his illness private, succumbing on December 20th, 1988, at just 49 years old. His death highlighted the stigma surrounding AIDS, especially within the black community. Up next, we'll explore the story of a sports icon who served as a symbol of excellence both on and off the court. His activism, achievements, and battle with HIV/AIDS left an indelible mark on history. Stay tuned for the inspiring journey of Arthur Ashe. Have you ever heard of a tennis player who didn't just win championships but also broke barriers and inspired generations? Arthur Ashe wasn't just an athlete. His biggest achievement is winning the 1968 U.S. Open, making him the first black man to claim a Grand Slam title. Ashe then went on to win 3 Grand Slam titles and used his platform to fight for social justice and equality. Born in Richmond, Virginia, he rose through the segregated tennis circuit to become a global icon, not just for his victories, but also for his grace and activism. Tragically, Ashe's life was cut short after he contracted HIV through a blood transfusion during heart surgery in the early 1980s. He publicly announced his diagnosis in 1992 and passed away on February 6, 1993, at the age of 49. His courage in sharing his battle brought attention to the AIDS crisis and challenged its stigma. Next, we'll shift to the dazzling world of disco, where one flamboyant star made waves with his unapologetic identity and soulful voice. Stay tuned for the unforgettable Sylvester James. Did you know one of disco's most iconic voices came from a trailblazing artist who lived boldly and unapologetically? Sylvester James, known mononymously as Sylvester, rose to fame in the 1970s with his electrifying voice and flamboyant persona. His biggest achievement? The timeless disco anthem, "You Make Me Feel Mighty Real," which remains a celebration of freedom and self-expression. Sylvester's rise began in the San Francisco music scene, where his dynamic performances and boundary-pushing style captivated audiences. As an openly gay artist during a time of significant stigma, he became a symbol of resilience and pride for the LGBTQ+ community. Tragically, Sylvester's life was cut short by AIDS-related complications. He passed away on December 16, 1988, at the age of 41. Despite his illness, Sylvester remained a fierce advocate for AIDS awareness, ensuring his legacy extended beyond music. Next, we'll step into the world of acting to explore the story of a rising star who dazzled audiences on the big screen and left a lasting impression on television. Stay tuned for the story of Franklin Seals.
Hey, what the hell was that?
Did you know one of television's brightest stars of the 1980s left us far too soon, his talent etched forever in our memories? Franklin Seals became famous for his role as Dexter Stuffins on the hit sitcom Silver Spoons. His biggest achievement was his ability to bring depth and charm to the character, making him a standout in a show beloved by millions. Born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Seals honed his craft at the Juilliard School, earning acclaim for his stage performances before transitioning to television and film. His remarkable talent and captivating presence made him a rising star in Hollywood. Sadly, Seals passed away on May 14, 1990, at just 37 years old due to AIDS-related complications. His death marked the loss of a gifted actor whose potential was never fully realized. Next, we'll delve into the story of a musical talent whose songwriting and soulful voice made waves in the 1990s. His story is both inspiring and heartbreaking, as he faced his battles with grace. Stay tuned for the emotional journey of Kenny Green. The 1990s R&B scene lost one of its most heartfelt voices far too soon. Kenny Green, lead singer of the group Intro, was a master of crafting songs that resonated deeply with listeners. Writing the timeless hit Come Inside and penning Love No Limit for Mary J. Blige, tracks that defined a generation of soul music. Kenny's fame soared with Intro's debut album, a perfect blend of smooth R&B and new jack swing. His voice carried an emotional depth that few could match, making his music unforgettable. But Kenny's life was tragically cut short. He passed away from AIDS-related complications on October 1, 2001, at just 32 years old. His courageous decision to speak openly about his illness before his death brought much-needed awareness to the disease. Next, we'll dive into the story of a soul legend whose journey through fame and heartache mirrored the complexity of his music. Stay tuned for the poignant story of Bobby DeBarge.
For the first time, you and I.
A voice like Bobby DeBarge's doesn't come along often, pure, haunting, and unforgettable. As the lead singer of the group Switch, Bobby's biggest achievement was the 1978 hit There'll Never Be, a classic that remains a cornerstone of soul music. Bobby's fame began with Switch, which became known for their smooth harmonies and emotionally charged ballads. His immense talent, however, was often overshadowed by personal struggles, including battles with substance abuse. In 1995, Bobby was diagnosed with HIV, which later progressed to AIDS. On August 16, 1995, he passed away at just 39 years old, leaving behind a legacy of music that continues to inspire. Next, we turn to the story of a vibrant performer who lit up the screen with his energy and talent, but whose life ended all too soon. Stay tuned for the unforgettable journey of Gene Anthony Ray. Few could light up the screen like Gene Anthony Ray, whose charisma and talent embodied the energy of the 1980s. His biggest achievement? Starring as Leroy Johnson in the iconic musical Fame, where his dynamic dance moves and electrifying presence made him unforgettable. Gene's rise to fame was as dramatic as his performances. A Harlem native with no formal training, he landed the role of Leroy after skipping school to audition. His raw talent and vibrant personality turned him into a household name, inspiring a generation of dancers and dreamers. Tragically, Gene's life was cut short. He passed away from complications related to AIDS on November 14, 2003, at the age of 41. His passing marked the loss of a one-of-a-kind performer whose passion and artistry left a lasting legacy. Next, we'll explore the life of a pop sensation whose upbeat anthems belied a life filled with challenges. Stay tuned for the story of Jermaine Stewart, a star who left his mark with a single unforgettable hit. Jermaine Stewart's vibrant energy and catchy tunes defined the 1980s pop scene. His biggest achievement? The timeless hit, "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off," a playful yet meaningful anthem that became a global sensation. Jermaine's rise to fame began as a dancer on Soul Train, where his undeniable talent and charisma stood out. He transitioned into singing, and his unique voice quickly captured the attention of audiences worldwide, making him a prominent figure in the pop and R&B landscape of the era. Sadly, Jermaine's life came to an untimely end. He passed away from AIDS-related complications on March 17, 1997, at just 39 years old. His music, however, continues to inspire and remind us of the joy he brought to the world. Next, we'll delve into the life of a radio pioneer whose smooth voice and innovative style changed the way we listen to music. Stay tuned for the legacy of Melvin Lindsay, a name synonymous with Quiet Storm Radio. Melvin Lindsay's voice wasn't just smooth, it was transformative, creating a radio format that became iconic. His biggest achievement? Pioneering the Quiet Storm, a late-night radio show featuring mellow, soulful tracks that defined romantic R&B for generations. Starting as a radio DJ intern at Howard University's radio station, the soothing blend of music and his warm, intimate voice quickly captivated listeners, turning the program into a cultural phenomenon and inspiring similar shows nationwide. Tragically, Melvin passed away from AIDS-related complications on March 26, 1992, at just 36 years old. His legacy, however, endures in the enduring popularity of the format he created, which remains a staple of R&B radio to this day. Melvin's story reminds us of how one voice can change the world.
Enjoying great success with their debut album, Nothing Matters Without Love.
The lives of these extraordinary individuals remind us of the profound impact they had, not just within their fields, but on the world as a whole. Their losses left voids that could never be filled, yet their legacies continue to inspire new generations. Which story touched your heart the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep their memories alive by continuing the fight against the stigma and silence surrounding